Hey YouTube, it's your girl Kiki. I know it's been a while since I've made a video or done anything. It's been challenging to say the least. Um, these last, I would say, maybe couple of months or so have been challenging. And I just felt kind of called to come on here today to share some of my awareness around the energies that are transpiring with the not just with my own individual self but collectively. So it feels like what's been coming up for my awareness for me to review. Not only are we purging ancestral karmic energies, it's almost as if spirit or the energies are asking us to have these emotions, feelings to come up without attaching any thoughts or judgments to us. And what I mean by that is a lot of times, and I'm guilty of that too, is that when we feel an emotion, whether like for instance, a lot of it from my own individual has been coming up from the root, the sacral, the solar, all the way up into the heart space. And what tends to happen is it kind of gets stuck in that heart space because we want to attach a story, a conversation, a theme, or limiting self-beliefs. We tend to hold on to it within our heart space. But what it is just old energies that are coming up that just need to come up for transmutation, I'm sorry. And so what I've been sitting with myself and my guidance has been thus far is to try to let go of attachment in the sense of having to correlate the emotion that I'm feeling with a thought or some type of old limiting belief or story of conversation. To just allow the emotion and to express that emotion. So if that emotion makes you feel sad, then if you feel like you want to cry, then cry without having to have that attachment to a story as to why you want to cry. Just expression. So what I'm feeling and perceiving with my own guidance is just allow the expression of the emotion just to come up without having the logical aspect side of ourselves to attach a thought to it, right? Because a lot of times we want to figure out why we want to cry. Why are we so angry? What's making us mad? Or is it that it's just an energy that needs some expression, or has it been a repressed expression, the emotion? Um, Yesterday, I found myself screaming, and right after screaming, I just laughed because I was just like, I'm very mild tempered when it comes to my anger, um, because I am someone who tends to just try to see the other side of things in a way where I try to find constructive ways of expressing when I have anger. But yesterday I just felt called to just scream. I know my neighbors were like, what is happening? But I did that, and I didn't hold any judgment. I didn't care who heard. I didn't care about the thoughts that I was having around just screaming out loud or who thought I was crazy. It was just like, it's a repressed emotion that I just need to express, whether it's my anger or someone else's anger, because collectively we feel each other's, because we're heart-based beings. We tend to hold on to things that don't even belong to us, but yet somehow we're feeling that emotion from maybe family, friends, or a spouse, or even sometimes our little pet fur babies and animal type, or even babies. Sometimes, because babies are just a walking example of, they tend to can't talk, but they're crying, and you're trying to figure out why they're crying. Sometimes it's just that they just feel the need to cry. So allow them to cry to express that emotion, right? So I'm saying that to say it's almost like being childlike, in the sense of, think of yourself as being that toddler. You don't know why you need to cry. We just feel like we need to cry. And it's okay to let that emotion out. If I feel like I want to scream, then scream. It doesn't matter why I feel the need to scream, because the goal and the message that, again, the guidance that I've been feeling from the divine is to stop attaching stories to all of these emotions. And then what happens is we find ourselves getting triggered, or we find ourselves being back in trauma. And then you're wondering, like, I thought I was over that. And it's like, well, you probably are over it, but because your mind wants to attach a thought to the feeling instead of just expressing the feeling, it causes us to go back. It feels like we're going backwards, but instead we're moving forward in this present moment. So I'm saying that to say these energies, especially with this full moon in Pisces, which is very watery, it's mutable energy, which means that it's changeable, it's adaptable energy, but it's causing us to really look into ourselves on the deeper feeling level. Because again, with water, it's all about the emotions, it's all about healing, it's all about transmutation. And so we're at a place now energetically and spiritually where we're now at a point where wherever you are in your journey, you can allow that transmutation of energy to come through. Because what my guidance has been is that moving forward, we're going to be expressing ourselves through our emotions for manifestations. I mean, manifestations has always been connected to the emotions, but we're moving back into a place where we're no longer going to attach a story to the emotion. We're just going to express the emotion and allow that process to happen naturally, where manifestation can then come through, if that makes any sense. So these energies, they feel very intense. A lot of it from my own purging. I've been purging for like the last week, and what's strongly coming through is our inner feminine is rising inwardly. And so when that happens, we have to purge and we have to move things out of the way so that that energy can rise within us. So with the feminine, it's all about emotions, right? And whether you identify as a male or female, we all have inner divine feminine just as much as we have divine masculine energy. So right now, as the feminine is rising, she's all about expressing her emotions. She knows how to express her emotions without attaching a thought to it. It's just about expressing. And so these energies feel intense because it's heavy on the recognizing that we're expressive beings, we're heart-centered beings, and that we can express ourselves emotionally without having to attach a story behind it. So my message here, my message, or what Spirit is showing me, and again, my own perspective of the guidance, is to allow ourselves to express ourselves emotionally without attaching a thought, a conversation, a story, a limiting belief that we continue to tell ourselves, and to not form an opinion on it, just to be a neutral polarity, just be neutral polarity on it, just to bring ourselves to a neutral. It's just energy that needs to be expressed, because at the end, at the very most, emotions are energies that are just in motion, right? So we're always constantly in motion. We're always going to be expressing emotion because we're energy-based beings. So with that being said, just know that you are being divinely supported at this time. Know that you're being divinely guided. And again, if there's emotions that are coming up, which I feel it's happening for the collective, because I'm feeling it very, very heavy at this time, that we're meant to express these emotions. And then you'll start to see a lot of it being expressed, because again, as above, so below. So the energies that are happening, you'll start to see it being reflected outside of you. And Spirit is also saying that there's so much that's going on around us that we can't even perceive. Even the spiritual community, you can be as awakened, as an enlightened, but there's just certain aspects of this journey and ascension process that we're not going to be able to be privy to. And we just have to trust and have faith that we're not being led astray, that this is happening all for our highest goods, and that we're moving into a new space in a new present moment. And that in order to get there, we have to allow ourselves that expression, because this journey isn't linear, nor is it logical. And so a lot of times our logical brain wants to try to take over because it's trying to understand the inner workings of this process. However, it can't, because it's a process that can't necessarily be understood. It's a process that's more understood and overstood through feeling and emotion and connectivity with the spirit, through spirit. And so a lot of times our brains are trying to connect all the dots. So a lot of times, as in to try to protect us, it wants to go back into, well, this is why you're feeling this way. And it's like, well, no, I'm not feeling that way because of that. And to not hold judgment, your brain is just trying to connect. It's trying to understand a very complex, convoluted process that cannot be explained. And so it wants to protect itself. And so it wants to attach something, a story, a conversation, or a limited belief that no longer serves. And so therefore it tends to, again, bring back triggers and traumas. And although we are clearing a lot of ancestral and karmic energies, it's not for us to attach any judgments or thoughts to it. It's just for us to kind of come through us and pass. It's not meant for us to hold on to it. It's not meant for us to really examine it. It's just coming through us so it can be transmuted and moved past. Because you have to remember, we've lived many, 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 many lives. And so there's a lot of that is coming through so that it can be transmuted, because we're moving into a new phase. And we have been for a while now. And now that we're getting closer to whatever that may be and not attaching to a time frame to it, and just know that we're moving through it. And so Spirit is asking us to just express those emotions in a way where you're honoring yourself, but not attaching yourself to it. Don't attach yourself to the thought, to the conversation of it all. Just allow the energies to flow through you and let it pass and transmute it. And I promise you, it'll get better. When I did all of that screaming yesterday, I laughed. I just completely fell out in laughter right afterwards. It was just where there was no thoughts, there was no judgment. I didn't attach a story. I just laughed so hard. I mean, a really gut laugh. I haven't heard my laugh like that in so long. It almost sounded like a child's laugh, just because I haven't laughed that hard in so long, because even with our expression, we stifle our laughter. And so it was almost like I was in a childlike way. Right after, I felt like a toddler, where I didn't know why I was crying. I didn't know what I wanted, and that was okay. I just know I needed to express screaming. I just felt like screaming. And once I did that, I fell on complete laughter, and I went on about my day, and I felt so much better. So honor your inner child, honor yourself, honor your feelings. Don't attach yourself to it. Just allow it to pass through. And once you're able to get past that point, the energies won't seem so intense, and it allow you to just really process and focus on what truly does serve you. Because the thing also with this, you have to remember, we have a lot of planets in retrograde right now. And so with retrogrades, that just means that it's taking a step back while at the same time moving forward. So it allows you to really focus on the things that you actually do want to bring forth, and the things that actually do serve you at this time, without having that repression of expression. So I hope that this helps someone, if not all. And again, with anything, like I always say, take what resonates and leave the rest. And just allow yourself to be honored. Ground yourself. Drink a lot of water. A lot of us are purging at this time, like myself. Like I said, I've been purging for maybe the last week and a half. Feminines, women, you may feel the purge like around your moon cycle. So your moon cycle may seem a lot heavier. You may feel more emotional during that time. Again, it's just us expressing, and we're purging away old timelines, old paradigms, like when I say old, I mean ancestral, very ancient energy. So just to be aware of that. And just know that you're okay. Know that you're grounded. Know that you're okay. Gaia is protecting us. Know that we are divinely supported by the spirituals. Know that the galactic beings are sending a lot of energies. That's why this heat is so intensified. So just know that we are being protected and we're being safe and we're being guided to express ourselves emotionally at this time. I love you guys. Keep moving forward. Know that you are not alone. Know that you are loved unconditionally. Know that you are being supported at this time. No matter what is going on in the 3D, know that we are moving into higher realms of energy, and know that we are moving into uncharted times. And to know that throughout this process, we are being guided, we are being protected, we are being safe, we are being loved unconditionally through this process. So, with that being said, continue to have a beautiful day. Continue showing yourself so much compassion, so much grace. I just heard a lot of us will probably go back into hermit mode during these times just to really connect with ourselves to get that guidance. So if you feel called to be in hermit mode, don't judge yourself. Do what you feel guided to do. And that's with everything. All right. I love you guys. Have a beautiful Monday, and I will be talking with you guys soon.